Research Break on KXLM, your leading source of research news in the Twin Cities. With Emily Wilson, Jenna Washneski, Trudy Saxelby, and Willow Rogers.
Good afternoon and welcome to Research Break. It's been a while since we've seen you, but not to worry. We are back with plenty of MS research news and tricks up our sleeves to share with you this new season.
That's right, Emily. In fact, we recently received some breaking news from the CCSVI world. 7 multidisciplinary teams released reports on the significant progress they're making on their CCSVI research goals. The one-year progress reports indicate they are on track to provide essential data and critical analysis of the role CCSVI may play in MS. As you remember, it is believed by some in the medical community that CCSVI, or insufficient blood flow in the veins that lead to the brain, may play a role in MS. These studies were launched last July with a more than $2.4 million commitment from both the National MS Society and MS Society of Canada. The research teams have recruited a broad spectrum of people with and without MS to build understanding of who may be affected by CCSVI.
You know, Jenna, when will we be able to hear some results from this groundbreaking work?
Well, because the studies employ rigorous methods to collect objective data, full results of the research will be available only after full completion of the studies. In the meantime, several teams are planning to present some preliminary findings at medical meetings throughout the year.
Well, it sounds like they're making some impressive progress after just 1 year. I'm looking forward to reporting on the results next July.
Me too.
And it looks like while progress is being made in one area of research, another is coming to an abrupt end. Last month, Merck Serono announced that it has decided not to pursue the approval of its oral therapy cladribine for the treatment of relapsing forms of MS. Discussions with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration made it apparent that the ongoing clinical trials of the therapy would not address the FDA's requirements for approval. While details of these requirements have not been made public, the company has stated it plans to complete the current trials that are underway and that those results will be published.
Well, that's a bummer.
It sure is. And you know, Dr. Timothy Coetzee, Chief Research Officer at the National MS Society, agreed. He said, "It's disappointing that completion of the cladribine trials will not lead to the approval of a new therapy option for people living with MS." Furthermore, he went on to thank everyone who participated in these important clinical trials.
Well, I'm happy to report that Research Break learned this week about results of another promising therapy.
This sounds like a news sandwich.
It is a good news sandwich. Alemtuzumab, an experimental IV therapy, significantly reduced relapse rates compared to Rebif. Approximately 581 people with early relapsing MS who had never received any disease-modifying therapy before were randomly assigned to either receive alemtuzumab or Rebif. Those receiving the IV therapy had a 74% reduction in relapses over 2 years, while those on Rebif had a 71% reduction. While the reduction in relapses is significant, the IV therapy did not slow disease progression compared to Rebif. Data is ongoing, and another clinical trial is currently underway.
Well, that's promising news, Jenna. We'll stay on top of this one for sure. Before we go, everyone, we wanted to take a minute to honor a very special friend of the MS Society and the Research Break team. Linda Munson, Vice President of Programs at the Minnesota chapter, recently retired. In her 12 years with our chapter, she did so much to help people affected by MS address the challenges of this disease, including making sure they got the latest information about MS research and treatments. Not only is she a champion for people living with MS, but she's also Research Break's #1 fan, and we mean that. She literally is our #1 fan. We'd like to present Linda with a Lifetime Super Scientist Award and thank her on behalf of everyone who's working diligently to bring us closer to a world free of MS. You're here, Linda.
We'll miss you for sure.
Oh, yes. And although Linda's gone, I know we have plenty of fans and super scientists out there, and we want to hear from you. So send us your questions, thoughts, or story ideas, and our team will respond as quickly as possible. Yeah, well, that wraps up today's show. Thanks so much for joining us on another edition of Research Break.